"Come get her. We're boarding now." The text lit up my phone and my world snapped in half. I'm Amber, 32. My own parents had just left my 8-year-old daughter alone at the airport because she cried about sitting in economy while they floated to first class. I didn't argue. I ran. When I found her, surrounded by police clutching her backpack, tears soaking her cheeks, I realized something brutal. Family doesn't always mean safety. Then came the follow-up text. "Don't make us feel guilty. She needs to learn a lesson." They were right about one thing. A lesson would be learned, but not by my child. They forgot I had the receipts, and the law remembers. Stay with me, because this is how betrayal became justice. Where are you watching from today? Drop your city in the comments, and if you've ever felt abandoned by family, hit like and subscribe. Last Christmas, I watched my daughter learn what favoritism feels like. My niece Emma tore through piles of gifts, an iPad, a new bike, American Girl dolls still in boxes. The room looked like a commercial. Bella, my 8-year-old, unwrapped a single box, a gray sweater, no ribbon, no excitement. Her smile wavered, but she didn't cry. She just looked down, folded the sweater carefully, and whispered, "It's nice, Mommy." My mother noticed and pulled me aside. "Bella's quiet," she said. "Books and simple things suit her. She doesn't need all that stimulation." I stared at her. "You gave Emma $1,000 in toys." Mom shrugged. "Emma's just more expressive." That was her excuse every time. When Emma screamed, she was spirited. When Jake broke things, he was all boy. When Bella read quietly, she was concerning. The pattern never changed. At Emma's 8th birthday, my parents rented a princess, a bouncy castle, catered food, the whole show. When Bella turned 8, I asked if they wanted to help. "Oh, honey," Mom sighed. "We're still tired from Emma's party. Let's just do cake at Sunday dinner." So Bella's birthday was a grocery store cake after meatloaf. She didn't even blow out her own candles. Emma helped. Bella's face fell and no one noticed but me. Every family dinner became an exercise in restraint. "Why's Bella so thin? Are you feeding her enough?" "She never talks. Maybe she's depressed." "She's not as outgoing as Emma, huh?" Each comment chipped away at her confidence, and I just sat there frozen between rage and guilt, afraid to make things worse. One night, I finally said it. "Mom, do you realize how differently you treat them?" She looked offended. "You're too sensitive, Amber. We love all the kids equally. Maybe you're projecting." That line hit harder than anything else. She wanted me to doubt what I saw with my own eyes. Driving home that night, Bella stared out the window. "Mommy," she whispered, "why does Grandma like Emma more?" I didn't have an answer. All I could say was, "You didn't do anything wrong, sweetheart." But inside, I knew something was broken, and pretending it wasn't wouldn't fix it. When my parents invited Bella to join their Florida trip, I wanted to say no. Every instinct screamed, "Don't do it." But then my mother said, "Amber, don't be ridiculous. We raised you, didn't we? We can handle one little girl." My sister Lisa smirked. "Don't be that mom who never lets her kid do anything." And then Bella looked up at me, eyes shining. "Please, Mom, I've never been anywhere like that." I caved. I didn't want to be the overprotective mom again, the one they rolled their eyes at. "Okay," I said finally, "but promise me you'll take care of her." Mom looked offended. "Of course we will. She's our granddaughter. What kind of people do you think we are?" I should have answered, the kind who make children feel unwanted. Instead, I handed her an envelope with $3,000 in cash. Airfare, hotel, meals, tickets, everything. She didn't even count it. "That should cover it," she said, tucking it into her wallet like it was pocket change. The morning they left, Bella wore her favorite princess dress, backpack covered in stickers. "I love you, baby," I said, hugging her tight. "I love you too, Mommy, don't worry." But I did. As their car pulled away, my stomach twisted so tight it hurt. I told myself it was just nerves. They'd text when they landed. Days passed. No photos, no updates. When I texted Mom, she replied, "Busy day, don't be dramatic." That phrase again. Dramatic, sensitive, overreacting. The words she'd used all my life to keep me quiet. At work, I tried to focus, but my mind kept drifting to Bella. I imagined her excitement, her smile. Maybe this time would be different. Maybe they'd finally treat her like she mattered. Then I saw Lisa's Facebook post. Photos of my family at Disney World, first-class seats, fine dining, smiles. But no Bella, not in a single picture. I scrolled, heart pounding, until one photo stopped me cold. My parents in front of Cinderella's castle, holding matching souvenir cups. The caption, "Family trip of a lifetime." Family. Everyone but my daughter. I called. No answer. I texted again. "Where's Bella?" No reply. Hours later, Mom finally messaged back. "She's fine. Don't overreact. We'll talk later." That night, I barely slept. Something was wrong. I could feel it. But the next morning, I forced myself to believe she was safe, because the alternative was too terrifying to face. I had no idea that within 24 hours I'd get the message that would change everything. The message came in the middle of a staff meeting. "Come get her. We're boarding now." At first, my brain didn't process it. Then I saw the sender, Mom, and my blood went cold. I opened the next one. "Don't make us feel guilty. She needs to learn a lesson." My hands shook so badly I dropped my pen. My boss was still talking about quarterly numbers while my world was collapsing. I didn't reply. I just grabbed my keys and ran. The drive to the airport felt endless. I don't remember red lights or traffic, just the pounding in my chest and one thought looping in my head. She's alone. My baby is alone. By the time I parked, illegally, I was crying so hard I could barely see. I sprinted through the terminal, yelling her name. "Bella! Bella!" A police officer turned toward me. "Ma'am, are you Amber Hayes?" "Yes," I gasped. "My daughter. Someone said she's here." He nodded toward a waiting area. "Follow me." And there she was. My little girl sitting on a bench surrounded by 2 officers clutching her backpack, face red and blotchy from crying. When she saw me, she ran. "Mommy!" I dropped to my knees, arms open. She crashed into me, shaking so hard it scared me. "They left me," she sobbed. "Everyone left me." I held her tight. "I'm here, baby. I've got you. You're safe now." Officer Martinez, the one who'd called me over, cleared his throat gently. "Ma'am, can you tell us what happened?" I showed him my phone, hands trembling. My parents, they took her on a family trip. I gave them money, $3,000, to cover her expenses. They were flying first class, she was in economy, and when she got upset, my voice broke. "They just left her." His jaw tightened. "That's child abandonment." Another officer, Chen, knelt beside Bella. "Sweetheart, you're very brave. You're safe now." Bella hiccuped through tears. "Grandma said I was being a baby. She said, 'Big girls don't cry about sitting alone.' Then they got in line and left." I watched Officer Martinez's face darken. He spoke into his radio, short and clipped. "Have Orlando PD detain flight passengers matching this description. Possible child abandonment." It hit me like a punch. Detain them. This was real. My parents, my sisters, all of them. They'd boarded that plane while my daughter begged not to be left behind. For the next few hours, everything blurred. Statements, paperwork, sympathetic officers, snacks Bella wouldn't touch. My phone buzzed nonstop. Calls from Mom, Lisa, unknown numbers. I didn't answer. At one point, Officer Martinez looked up from his report. "They've been detained in Orlando for questioning. Formal charges are being filed. Child abandonment, endangerment." I expected guilt. I felt none. Just cold, steady rage. When we finally got home that night, Bella fell asleep in the car, face streaked with dried tears. I carried her inside, tucked her in, and sat watching her breathe. They had left her at an airport over seating arrangements. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't scared of my parents anymore. I was done protecting them. The next morning, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. Mom, Dad, Lisa, all of them. I ignored every call. When I finally checked the messages, they were unbelievable. "You're overreacting. Tell the police it was a misunderstanding. Family doesn't do this to family." The irony almost made me laugh. "Family doesn't abandon an 8-year-old at an airport," I wanted to reply. Instead, I called my best friend, Rachel. She answered on the first ring. "What happened? Are you okay?" I told her everything, every text, every second of that nightmare. She went silent, then said, "Amber, whatever you have to do it. They deserve whatever's coming." That's exactly what I planned to do. A few days later, Detective Morrison from Orlando PD called. "Your parents and sisters have been questioned. They're being charged with child abandonment and child endangerment. You'll likely need to testify." What kind of sentence are we talking about? First-time offenders, probably fines and probation, but a protective order will bar them from contacting your daughter. Good, I said. They've done enough damage. I filed for extended leave from work. My boss didn't hesitate. Take the time you need. What they did is beyond unacceptable. Bella started therapy with Dr. Sanders, a child psychologist recommended by the police. She was kind, patient, and gentle, but progress was slow. Bella panicked if I was even 5 minutes late to pick her up. She slept with the lights on. Weeks later came the first court hearing. I walked into the courtroom with my head high, Rachel by my side. My family sat across the aisle. Mom pale, Dad angry, Lisa avoiding eye contact. When the judge entered, the air shifted. Defendants are charged with child abandonment and child endangerment. How do you plead? Mom's lawyer stood. Not guilty, Your Honor. Of course. When the judge issued the protective order, no contact with Bella under any circumstance, I felt something inside me loosen. It wasn't victory yet, but it was justice starting to take shape. Outside the courthouse, Mom tried to approach. Amber, please, can't we just talk? No, I said, walking past her. Dad shouted after me, You're destroying this family! I turned back. No, Dad, you did that when you left my daughter crying at an airport. Over the next months, the case crawled forward. Their lawyer sent me a letter demanding I return the $3,000 I'd given for Bella's trip, claiming the trip didn't happen. I laughed so hard I cried. They'd abandoned my child and still wanted to be paid for it. I hired a new lawyer, Patricia Morgan. Calm, sharp, exactly the kind of woman who terrified men like my father. We'll file a countersuit, she said. They took your money under false pretenses. We'll go after that plus therapy costs. And we did. Patricia sent them one message. My client seeks restitution, $5,000 total, or see you in court. They refused. Fine. I wasn't afraid anymore. The day of the hearing, I sat across from the people who'd raised me and realized something important. They weren't my family anymore. They were just people who'd finally met a consequence. When the judge ruled in my favor, $5,000 payable within 30 days, I didn't celebrate. I just exhaled. They wanted to teach my daughter a lesson. Now they were the ones learning what accountability feels like. The check arrived in a plain white envelope. No note, no apology, just a $5,000 cashier's check. I stared at it for a long time, then smiled. They hadn't paid me back. They'd paid for Bella's healing. That night, I told her, Remember that trip Grandma and Grandpa were supposed to take you on? She nodded carefully. Well, they had to return all the money, and I think we should use it for something better, just you and me. Her eyes widened. Disney? Disney, I said, smiling. We flew first class, side by side. I watched her press buttons, giggling at the reclining seat, and when we landed, she whispered, Mommy, this is how it was supposed to be. Our week was pure joy. Rides, parades, fireworks, the kind of memories I'd always wanted her to have. One night, standing on the hotel balcony, Bella hugged me and said, Thank you for not leaving me. That sentence shattered and healed me at the same time. I'll never leave you, baby. Ever. Months passed. Therapy continued. Bella laughed more, slept better, started painting again. At her art show, she displayed a painting of an airport, not dark or scary, but full of color and light. She titled it, New Beginnings. That's when I knew she was okay. I don't think about my parents much anymore. Sometimes I wonder if they ever think about us. But then I realize it doesn't matter. We built a life without them, and it's better than anything they ever gave us. People always say blood is thicker than water. Maybe. But love, the real kind, the kind that protects, heals, and stays, is thicker than anything. They thought abandoning Bella would teach her a lesson. They were right. She learned she deserves better. And so did I. If this story touched you, hit like and subscribe, because every time we choose love over fear, we remind someone else they can too.